I guess we are live.
Yes.
Yeah. So a big hello to all my lovely and enthusiastic audience and all the bibliophiles, the one who are watching. First and foremost, my heartfelt thanks to Kaling Litfest team for inviting me to moderate today's book discussion on this virtual platform in Bhava Samvad. Behind every book is a poet, and behind every poet is a community. So the thread that bind to the world. I think all the poetry lovers will agree to the statement. Yes, today we are with the debut poet with us. And so please join me in welcoming on this virtual platform this versatile teenager, a high school student, a trained Kathak dancer, and the debut poet, that is Sara Tripathi. Hi, Sara. So, can you
Hello.
believe this teenager with such a long introduction? So, hi, Sarah. How do you find it?
Hello, ma'am. Thank you so much for such a lovely introduction. And thank you, everybody who's joined to listen us.
So, Sarah, I think
And
painting, academics, dancing, you are a small packet with, I think, a tremendous talent, right? So, how do you manage all this together?
I think it's not about management. It's more about, end up finding time for things you love, no matter what. So I love reading and writing and dancing. So no matter how busy I am, I will most definitely find the time to do those things because art in any and every form is such a beautiful vessel to express yourself and to take a break from the daily life that is the rat race. And there's this quote by Oscar Wilde that goes like, to live is the rarest thing in the world. Most people just exist. That's all. And I think I'm living my most life when I'm doing some sort of art, when I'm writing, or when I'm painting,
Great. I
or
think
when I'm just
probably, Sarah,
completely.
yeah, I think all these things probably, be it painting, be it dancing, or be it even a poetry today. Now, I think these must be the de-stressors for you today, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. All right. So, being an educator and a language trainer, poetry has always influenced me. Some of your collections, like the poems, play a kind of a language, the language of news, the language of love, the heartbreak of the family, of the place, various things. When I was just going through your book, I think that is something, a beautiful title itself says about it. And as I can just show this out here as well, what lies within. When this book came in my hand, it was like, everything, all kind of a language was there. Again, I'll repeat, the language of love, break hearts, everything was there. And finally, there was a light which was being bring together, and a kind of a hope was there. How do you plan all those things? Was it a one sitting job, or was it working? Like, how was the things like?
So initially, I started writing at a very, very young age, which is the influencer because I come from a very um, literature loving family. So I
Right.
started writing from a very, very young age. And when I started writing, I didn't start with the mindset that I would write a book someday. I
All
just
right.
did because I loved writing. It's as simple as that. And that love for writing slowly transformed itself into passion, which transformed into itself something more. And then I decided that, these poetry, I was very, very scared of showing my work. But I had this lovely English teacher in my 10th
Great.
grade, Mrs. Annie Matthew, and she gave me that gentle push I needed. And she told me that your words have the power to touch people's hearts and souls. So why don't you, compile them and, let the world see? So even if it touches just one person, it would mean the world to you. So that's
So I
how it
think
came about.
definitely I would like to thank Miss Annie out here, as because of her, this little child, this beautiful girl is sitting in front of us, and on this particular Bhav Samvad, we are actually having a nice conversation, right? So definitely there's somebody behind. So here the teacher played a important role in your life. Wonderful, very nice. Let me know one more thing, Sarah. I just want to know about it because I was just going through your book and find various things about. So, how does this heterogeneous titles, which I just come across your particular book was, came to your mind. Does it entail sitting at the desk and pen in hand?
I think I have never, sat down to write. I have
All
sat
right.
down because I was inspired. Like, I didn't just sit in the desk and I was like, today I'm going to write a poem. No, it was
All
like
right.
something struck me, like a lightning bolt. And I was like, I need to pen this down immediately.
Right.
No matter what I'm doing, I'm going to drop everything and I'm going to pen this down. So
Wonderful.
that's how it came to me. I did not
Right. Right.
force it out of myself, but it just very naturally came to me. It's like breathing, just words flow out of you, from the tip of your pen on the
Great.
paper.
Great, great. Being an educator myself, being an English trainer myself, I've come across various kind of poetry. So if I'm looking at the world through poetic lenses and thinking of all the work through the lens of poetry has gifted me, then the poems are being written and will touch the page, right? When it is a time. Like what I feel is even poetry can come to you while cooking or even while traveling or even just while conversation right now. So things can come to you immediately, and yeah, while fine, we can do something like this right away, right? So does it something
Yeah.
like this also come to you? So what is the best
Uh,
time when actually poetry touches you?
uh, the thing is, like, I still remember writing my first poem of life, and I
All
remember
right,
watching this sort of a reality singing show with my maternal grandmother,
all
and it
right,
was
all
just some
right.
sort of argument going out there, and I was like, you
Acha,
know,
okay,
like how we fight for such littlest of things, and that's when my first poetry came to me, and that's
okay,
when I penned it down. So it
okay.
can, basically come in any form, in every form. It can come as a
True.
person, it can come as a thing, it can come as anything.
True, true, true. Very, very true. Okay, just let me know before we go further. I just want your favorite poetry in your book, and that is What Lies Within. Which is your favorite? The one you just actually touched your heart, Sarah.
Okay,
Because
so
I really liked all your chapters so well. I was just going through them, and I really loved that how this girl is trying to create the dream into everybody else's world. So, what is your favorite poetry?
okay, so I'm a little biased because I love them all. I wrote them with my heart
Actually,
and soul.
actually, even I commented the same thing, or I just loved all your poems altogether. But I really want this young poet telling me that this is what my favorite one. Okay, let me change my question a little. Which was the first poem which actually you penned down?
The first poem in the book that I actually penned down was this poem called Absences Beyond.
All
And
right,
I think I wrote this in my 10th grade towards the end. And
great,
it is not the first poem in the book, but it was the first poem that led me to this book. It's called
wonderful.
Absences Beyond.
Can we have a few lines from you right away?
Yeah, sure, sure. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, how the poem
this
goes. Just recite at least 3, 4 lines for us. I think
I'll
the
recite.
people who are watching you, the young minds who are there watching you, really love listening to you, right? Yeah, please carry on, better.
So I'll recite a few of my favorite lines from the poem. So I'll give a little backstory. This poem came to me, how sometimes people come into your life for a reason, a season, or a lesson. That's what I believe. So,
Great.
at this age, 16, 17 years old, people just transcend out of your life constantly. You're going to meet new people. You're going to let them go. So this is called absences beyond, because once a person comes into your life and they stay there, and when they leave, there's sort of this void in your life that is no longer filled and it feels so absent. So these are a few of my poems. And and I pluck my flowers of loss and leave them in the mud to die alone. Then I sing songs of legend and wars. I birth my poetry in death, loss, and beyond.
So
So
sweet,
it's
so sweet. Very nice, very nice. And very touching, actually, right? So I think number of time the people leave something behind. I think those footsteps or sometime some memories there, and you just feel like penning down then and there, right? All right, I'm moving towards the next part of it, and that is titles. I think I love the title coming all your in your all your chapters rather. So titles always catch one's attention. It's very well said of what you want the world and the world's beyond it. Date a girl who reads. And I have a girl who not just reads, but also writes here. So I think what lies within that has attracted this young girl? Why this title only? Why not something else?
So I think title speaks for itself because these aren't merely just words. This is what lies within. These are my emotions and my feelings and everything that I'm made of. I've poured into this book, and I kept the title "What Lies" because I have one goal with this book, and it's like these might be my words, and I might have penned and portrayed them, but these are the reader's feelings too. Because as much as the humankind is diverse, we are all the same. We all feel sadness and grief and love and heartbreak and loss and some emotions that we can't even express. So as much as
Definitely.
we're different, we're similar too. So that's why what lies within. This is what lies inside. This is what
Beautiful,
I couldn't
beautiful
see.
expression, beautiful expression. I think while reading the poem, each and every reader, the one who will be reading it, actually find, like Sarah is finding everything in it. Even everybody will find that what lies within the all the emotion one is getting into. Definitely, one will actually experience the entire thing after each and every poem one is going through. Right? Beautiful, very nice. There are some poems, there's some poets as well as the poems where I think we are always touched with, right? Closely, and every time they're being touched to your heart, you have some new awareness that help you, and you get connected to somebody, right? So must be there must be so many of your kinds of. So like I will always recommend for me. Emily Dickinson is somebody I really endure. I really endure the boldness of Emily, or even the poetry, the vision she expresses into, or even Elizabeth Bishop for the lyrical procession in the poetry. Whom do you feel like? What are you connected to? Which poets are you connected to, basically, Sarah?
So I have a few which have inspired different aspects of my journey as a poet because it hasn't been
Right.
just one idol. I have looked up to a lot of poets that have, helped me define my emotions just
All
because
right.
they did their yours so beautifully. So I'll name a top few. So Franz Kafka is one of them. I
All
remember
right.
reading his book, Metamorphosis, and that just changed my whole view on life. The
Exactly.
story, it's
Exactly.
like a
Right.
revolutionary story. So it's
Right.
just that was
Do you
like a
remember?
turning
Do you
point.
recall any lines from Metamorphosis? Can you recall
Yeah,
something? Yeah, because this is
yes,
lovely.
yes.
Even I love this poetry a lot. Can you please read out a few lines for our audience as well?
Okay, so the very first chapter of my book, which is called "Of the Darkness and the Cries," which takes towards of a dark and more grief sort of a taint to it. It was
Right.
inspired by Franz Kafka's writing, and one
Right.
quote that that was like the turning point in my life. It was, "I have the true feeling of myself only when I am unbearably happy." And
So so sweet. That
and
really
the quote,
touches you throughout.
yes, yes.
Right.
And
Right.
this quote, because it simply talks for itself. It says, "When I'm unbearably happy." Because when we're happy, there is nothing much to it. You're just happy, you're elated, and you're in the moment. But when you're sad, you're sort of take sadness as falling into this sort of a black hole of unknown. And you're falling and you don't know anything, and you have so much time to yourself that you take this reflection of yourself and try to make something out of it. So
Great.
that
I think emotions play a very, very significant role while writing, penning down the poetry. That comes to your mind, the words automatically comes to you. As you said, whether you're very happy or whether you're very upset for something, or even you're in some different mood, you feel like writing poetry because your collection, I can feel, is, I think, carry all the emotions all together. Yeah.
yeah.
All right.
Uh,
Okay. As you mentioned Miss Annie's name as your as your English teacher, who do you give the credit to, like spinning the yarn, apart from Miss Annie now? Do you remember somebody
oh,
else also who probably help you out spinning this yarn called What Lies Within?
my parents, of course, because writing
Definitely.
is something very ambitious to pursue. You hear everybody say that that's not a very secure thing to pursue. But my
True.
parents, they've been my backbone, and they were like, "You write, this that's
Great.
our job. We put it out to the world. Your job is to write. You love doing it, so
Right.
you should." And my dad, he's also a very, very good writer. He writes in Hindi,
Great.
and
Even
so
he
I
write
guess
poetry. Even he's
he
into
writes
poetry writer.
novels.
All right. All right.
So he's a journalist, so he
Oh,
writes a lot
great.
of things. And I
Good,
think
good,
I'll
good.
say it's a little bit in my blood, to just
Yeah, I
love the
can I
world.
can just hear that out. As you said, mention about your maternal grandmother, then your father, then definitely. So everybody, I think when it's in the blood, but automatically the flair of writing comes on the way, right?
Mhm. Yes,
Yes.
yes.
All right. My next question coming to you, Sarah, and that is many a times I myself find losing a staring contest with a blank page, right? I usually set a
Mhm.
timer for, say, 20 minutes and to put my pen down on the paper and write. So, what is Sarah's block remedy? I think everybody has some block remedy. So, what do you feel is your block remedy?
Um, I haven't sat about a thought of a block remedy because
Okay,
words and metaphors are something natural to me, and even if I try and force them out of myself, they won't feel the same way. So if I'm going through a block or I just simply cannot process the words, I'll give myself a break. I'll go read a book I love. I'll go read my comfort book, or I'll watch something. And then, it takes a little bit of a time, but then it'll come to me naturally because there's another poem in my book, and there are a few lines in there, and that go like, "You can cry, you can pray, but what's yours will always make its way to you."
so
And
sweet,
that's
so
it.
sweet, very nice. So I think we can say block remedy for Sarah is the poetry, is the book. If she starts reading that out, automatically that comes to her, right?
Yes.
So everybody has, and she's making it very, very clear that whenever she has a book with her, and be it a poetry, the block remedy is there, and the things are being cleared all the way, and she's all set for writing again. Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, what lies within is divided into various chapters. As I'll just tell to my audience as well. The first chapter says about of the darkness and the cries. The second chapter says about of the blood and the bones. And the third goes like opening the blinds, letting the light shine. Can you just focus a little? Just would you like to elucidate a little on the chapters, dear?
Yes, yes, of course. So, with this book, I wanted to start from a dark sort of a end and end it on a very happy note, because life isn't just one emotion. It's a cocktail of all different emotions, and you need to learn to live
Definitely.
with it. And
Right.
here's the thing: happiness and hope will come into your life, and you should host it for as long as it will stay. And when it
Right.
leaves, just start preparing for when it will come back again, because nothing lasts forever. That's simply it. So the first
Definitely.
chapter,
Definitely.
the first chapter of The Darkness and the Cries was mainly inspired by, the sad emotions, grief, loss, pain, and how sometimes you feel like you're so helpless. So
All right.
sometimes in life, you don't know what to say or how to say or how to ask
Yeah,
for help.
for sure.
So the poems in this book are basically my vessel of, helping myself. That I wrote these down on paper and I felt free. I was suffocating, but then I wrote these words down and I could breathe easier. So that's why this chapter was a little dark, but I wanted this book to be a cocktail of everything, just like our life and our emotions. So the first chapter portrays the dark side of the life, grief and loss and pain and heartbreak, and sometimes you feel like your pain is so big that it's consuming you whole, and nobody
True.
on the outside can see it, and you're just suffering. So my poems
I
were
think,
my
Sarah, this kind of experience, as you just mentioned about while reading, I think every reader will also face the same thing out because this is everybody's emotions, right?
yes,
This is the children of your age, even the adults. Being an adult myself, I was just going through it. Not just for teenager, I think for everybody. Everybody can directly connect to all your chapters so well. And while expressing the thing, the way you're expressing the first part, how it touched you and how you rectify the particular thing out, that really, really works a lot. Yeah. Okay,
Yes.
I'm so sorry. I think there's a power cut at my end. I think probably my camera will not be very very clear. I'm so sorry for that. We can always continue, Sarah. We can always continue, right? Okay, so
Yeah, yeah.
Sarah, just I was just talking about your chapters. You would just stress a little bit on your second and third chapter also.
Yes, yes. The first two chapters basically take you to the inside world of a human's mind. And I think emotions have nothing to do with age, because an adult and a child can both feel sadness. It might be for different things. An adult might be facing because of heartbreak, a child might be facing because they broke their favorite toy. But the sadness is the same, no matter what. And the
Definitely,
first,
definitely.
so
Yeah, yeah.
that's
Please carry on. Please carry on. Actually, I'm just having a little power cut at my end. So could you just continue with the third part of the chapter, please.
yes, yes, for sure, that's okay. So then the book is basically slowly transitioning. So first chapter of The Darkness and the Cries transitions from the blood and the bones, which is basically about being a person and facing all this negative self-identity and self-doubt, because we live in a world where change is constant. And I believe one thing, that change is the plainest of tragedies. You cannot avoid it. It's inevitable. And it keeps changing. And sometimes you just cannot change yourself at the speed of the change the outside world is changing. So you develop this negative self identities and so many insecurities and self doubt. So the second chapter is basically about that. And then the third chapter is it's the chapter title speaks for itself. It says, finally opening the blinds and letting the light shine. It is like you've been living in this room, in this cocoon, in the darkness, and now you slowly peer your eyes open and you can see the ray of sunshine coming through. And it's basically that you have to have faith no matter what. You have to have hope, because at the end of the day you will have to get through life, and just hold on to your hope and your faith close to you. And the night doesn't persist. The dusk and the dawn, they are basically like hand in hand. If it's dusk now, it will be dawn tomorrow.
So
So
definitely there is always a new sunshine if you look forward for, right? So it
yes.
never happens that the sadness goes on your life, or you have to be a little hopeful. So definitely there'll be an early morning. There'll be definitely a
Mhm.
dawn for you, and you'll definitely enjoy this certain thing. So there's nothing is everlasting. We have to be very, very finger crossed for everything, and definitely there'll be a better sunrise the next morning, right? So we have to be hopeful and enjoy each and every moment as the things are coming in our way. All right, Sarah,
Yeah.
as this was your class 10th, your high school time was there, and must be having a lot of stress as well. Then number of young children must be watching us, or probably will watch us and log in later as well. Let me have a word from you. How do you manage? How do you manage those things for them? Now, if they want to be the writer, they want to get into poetry, and the number of writers today these days in my classroom also I am seeing. Number of times the parents say don't do a certain thing out, though we keep telling them out. But as a author, as a poet today now, what is your words to them? How they should manage the certain things along with the academics and poetry writing?
Um, I think me too. I'm going to talk for myself and my people my age, that we spend a lot of time fretting over that we don't have time. Like we'll just sit there and we'll be like, oh, I don't have time to this. I don't have time to do this. The thing is, like, get on with it. You have to study. You have something coming up. Study, but then give yourself a break. Report yourself that you studied for like 60 minutes. Now I will go do something I like. It can be anything.
Right.
It can be watching TV. It can be eating your favorite food or writing or painting, whatever. So just
Definitely.
don't fret that you don't have time, because each of us get 24 hours a day.
For
Nobody
sure.
gets
For
an hour
sure.
extra, nobody an hour
Right.
less.
Right. So I think if we calculate the time properly, if we manage the time properly, definitely the things can be, we can do everything. Whatever is a passion can be followed very
Yes.
well. Right. Okay. Was there anyone who said like, no, this is not the right time to write poetry. You can do a certain thing now. Was there somebody like this? Somebody who came
Um,
to you and saying such a things to you, this is not the right time for writing a poetry now. Get into your academics. This is the time to study. Something like that was there, Sarah?
Not really, because God bless us, I've been surrounded by the most supportive people ever, and all my teachers have supported me in such a fierce way that I've never doubted myself, especially Mrs. Annie Matthew. She would tell me that it's okay, you love English, you love writing, get on with it. And
Great.
there was one thing about me, I'm very, very bad at math. And my 10th
Right.
board was coming up, and I was really scared. So my
All
math
right.
teacher, she came to me and she told me, "So what? You're bad at math. The world isn't ending. You're good
All
at
right.
something that not a lot of people are. So just pass
Right.
in math, and then drop it after 10th grade and pursue
Definitely.
whatever you want to."
Great, great. Okay, Sarah, just let me know the cover page. The cover page really, really matters a lot, a number of times, right? So, what is behind the cover page of your book? How was it planned? Like, how has it been illustrated? As you're a painter yourself, did you plan your cover page yourself, or was there some help being taken?
Okay, so I had a gist of what I'd like my cover page to be, but my lovely publication and my lovely cover designer helped me out a lot. So basically, how you see the same orange color that appears during sunrise and sunset, but
All
one
right,
represents and one represents beginning.
so
One is sun
sweet.
is rising and the other is sun is
Right.
setting, but it's the same orange color that paints the sky. So this is
Be it the
basically
dusk
it.
or be it the dawn, right? Both the times, yeah, yeah, definitely, yes. Yeah, so it's whether it's the dusk or the dawn time, we'll always notice that orange color, which is common,
Yeah.
right? Very nice,
So
very beautiful. I was really interested to know the story behind your cover page, which was really, really, very, very appealing and touching. So I just thought that my audience, the young mind, should definitely know about it, the story behind your cover page too. All right, Sarah, let me move on to the next part of it, and that is whom do you feel like this particular book, this particular collection of poetry should be read by? Who's the right audience for that? Who are the right readers for that?
okay, I'd like to say that people say that this is a bad. Sometimes when you read a book, people will have a negative review about it, and they will be like, "This is not a good book." And I think there simply are no bad books. There are books that are written brilliantly for you, and then there are books that are written brilliantly for other people. So it's basically on the reader. And I'd like to say that poetry, it can be a little bit of a work to understand, especially when it's filled with symbolism and metaphors. So the thing is, like, even if you're not able to understand it, you can appreciate it. So anybody of any age can read these because it's filled with emotions, and a person of 80 will read this and feel like, I've experienced all of this in my life. And a person of 17, my age, will read this and feel like, yes, I'm experiencing this right now. And it's good to know that I'm not alone and everybody goes through this. So it can be read
Great.
by anyone. It just depends on your perspective and how you look into it.
Definitely. Very nice. Very good. My next question is moving on to you, Sarah, and that is I just want to know about this thing that what was the making of what lies within, like was the manuscript went through any kind of iterations,
Um,
or it
it
was
went
just in
through,
one way? I'm
no,
having
no.
heavy rains, even the rains are happy about it, yeah. I'm having heavy rains out here in Bhopal, and I think even the rains are showering your the blessings onto you out here right now, yeah. Yeah, please
Yes,
carry
yes.
on, Mitchell. Yeah.
So it did went through editing, but it was basically like grammatical errors and typos that were corrected. The gist of the book was never tampered with because it was very raw and vulnerable. It was written in a very raw and vulnerable way, and I wanted it to be that way because I could polish it. I could add big words and big metaphors and polish it. But the thing is, like, then it will lose its essence of being real. And I wanted everybody to connect to it, not just people who are like highly literature, addicts or highly bibliophilic. Not everybody should connect to it because
That is
it's
definitely there, Sarah. While going through the book, I can find the language is very simple. It can easily be just understood very well by all kind of people, right? Be the young children or be it the teenager, and definitely the adults will love to read. And the way you have touched each and every subject, the titles or the chapters are really, I think they all will love to read the book, the entire collection of your poems. Okay, finally, what is the next thing in this Miss Tripathi's mind now? Are you plan to work for a poem again, a collection of poem, or you'll try your hand onto prose?
So I am actually working on a new manuscript. It's not a manuscript yet because my book, I don't think it was ever a manuscript because each of the poem in my book was written individually and was edited individually. And then
All
it
right.
was sort of compiled into this anthology. So each poem has its own essence because it was written at some moment, some time in my life. And all my attention was to it because when you start writing that you want to write a book now, you will just keep transitioning that, oh, I want to do this now, I want to do this now, I want to edit this now. But
Yeah.
with me, it was like every poem was written individually, and all my attention was on just one poem, not on a
Great.
whole
Great.
thing. So,
Right.
after publishing What Lies Within, I did write quite a few poems. So now I've just put them in sort of a Word document together. And there has
Okay.
been a little quotes and prose too. So I think it will be a mix of poems and prose, the second book, if it happens soon.
Right. Right. Great. So, is there something prose in your mind? You might try your hand on prose also, Sarah.
I am very, very new to the world of prose right now. So I'm
Yeah.
still, under over, like waves, trying to figure it out, trying to work it
Basically, your
out.
love is towards writing, so anything can come on your way. It can be writing a
Yes,
poem, or even the things again, even a collection of stories can be a wonderful thing out, because I can see the
yes,
way you connected with the titles. You have a lot of things to work even for your story writing also. I can see some lovely Krishna pictures there behind. Yeah, have you drawn these pictures yourself?
yes, I've drawn these as
Great,
well.
because it's
I
a
think,
Krishna's time, Janmashtami on our way. So I
yeah,
that
yeah.
was appealed me instantly while this conversation going on. Let me come up with Sara as an artist also. Great, very nice, very beautiful. Is that I can see? Is it something on a canvas? Are you working on? The
Yeah,
base is a
it's canvas.
canvas.
Yeah,
Great,
yeah.
great, very nice, very beautiful, very beautiful. I can see a lot of Krishna around here in your on your table behind the shelf
Yeah,
behind,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Great, great. Very
I have
nice,
this
very
one.
nice. Oh, great. I think you have a passion for Krishna, right?
Um, the thing is, like with painting too, it's like whatever appeals to me. It's like whatever I want to paint, I'll just paint because then I made hands too. I've painted a lot of hands too because
How
there's something
sweet.
beautiful
How
about
sweet.
hands.
This hands appear to me like it can be a cover page on one of your book coming times, It looks so nice and
I
so
hope.
appealing, right?
I hope so. Yes.
It happens to be because you have that artist in your mind, right? So when the
Yes.
artist is there, it can come any way out and can be flown over throughout, right? Wonderful, very nice. Okay, Sarah, my next question coming on your way is, and that is, what would be your word like for the young audience, the one who are watching you right now, the way you have written the poetries, right? As you said, the subject was never in your mind, but it came automatically through you, right? Now, just let me know what word will you give it to the audience, the young minds, the young children, that if they want to pen down something, should they keep the title in their mind? Okay, this is pen down the poem, and they can always title it later.
Okay. So one thing that there's another. This is another quote from one of my poems, and it just goes
Yeah,
like, "Let go of the anchor that's not letting you float. Just let go and hope." And that's basically it. You want to write something, it doesn't have to be perfect. It can be a diary entry, it can be anything. Just pick up the pen and write. You don't have a title, don't worry. You have a title, write the title down. If you don't have the title, write the
definitely.
body down. Just
Yeah.
write. It's as simple as that.
Right. And I think number of times the children even face a little problem while rhyming scheme and rhyming words. Is that really
Yes.
important according to you? Should they keep the rhyming scheme and rhyming words in their mind? Or they can just go about anything? Because poetry can be just anything, right?
Okay, so I think rhyming is another thing that you basically use to decorate the words you've written. So as metaphors and so as
The flowery
symbolism.
language matters, right?
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. So it's basically everything is just decoration. What started was like just merely words, and Franz Kafka, all of his work, all of his poetical work didn't rhyme, but it was brilliant. And I don't think rhyming is important. I just think that the realness and the essence of what you're writing is important.
Is definitely important. So rhyming is not very important. The only thing is what is there in your mind should be just
Yes,
penned
yes,
down then and there. Because number of times, whatever comes, like I can feel a rain right now around me. The raindrops trickling down. So you can always think on something then and there. You can just point out
yeah.
and write down something then and there. Right. Okay. Why was only this particular period, like as you have mentioned about in your book as well, that during the pandemic time, the things came out in the poetry, everything was being a collection. Before that, was the time was the issue, or you never could sit down and actually compile the entire book? Was it something in your mind at that time? Before, have you thought of to pen down everything into one and compile a book like this?
So I think things just fell into place. So before, as I said, I was scared of showing my work. And then in
Acha,
10th grade,
okay.
I got this brilliant English teacher. And then she gave me the push. And then the pandemic happened immediately after that. So I had a
Right.
lot of time on my hands to think and process to, do what I want to do. So it's not about that it was like pandemic that led to this. It was basically things fall apart before they fall together. So that's basically how it happened because things just, kept putting themselves into place and presenting themselves as an opportunity. So that's how it happened.
Right, right. I think pandemic, Sarah, the number of my students during pandemic, they started developing their skills, and definitely many of them are into poetry writing or into singing or even some different languages. So I think pandemic also, if you take the brighter side of it, definitely if you have something, some talent with you can always come up with a certain time, because that's that time you're having enough time with you in your hand, and you can actually realize that okay, this is my talent, I can actually work on it. So I think there's something wrong in it. If one is into any kind of a skill, it's the best time to actually give yourself maximum that me time, which was never ever been there in your life coming times, right?
Mhm.
Okay,
Yes,
so yeah, so
I
yeah,
was just saying, that before the thing was like pandemic gave us time on our hands. Before the pandemic, we were basically defining ourselves with our daily life. Race we are constantly competing. So it's like I am a school student. I have to study. I have to do homework. Then I have to do coaching. That's how we defined ourselves. But then
right,
there's another Oscar Wilde quote that goes like, "To define is to limit." So what we were doing was we basically limited ourselves to this bubble, and we were constantly living that day again and again. The pandemic, what it did to us was it gave us a lot of time for self-reflection because everything
exactly,
felt like
exactly,
that, oh my God, the world is falling apart. What will I do now?
right,
So you had a lot of
right.
time to self-reflect.
I think there are number of children today. I see my own son in the house. He never tried cooking. And he tried his hand into cooking and coming out to be a great cook today. Similarly, one of my students is there who was just never tried into violin. He's playing a wonderful violin. So then I think number of students, they came and they just got connected to a certain thing. Okay, this is for me and I can do it. And as you said, it was a rat race going, rushing for a bus in the morning, going to school, coming back again. A bus is waiting or a van is waiting to go to a coaching center or things like. By the time you're coming back home, you have no time left for yourself. Called me time. So I think if you one realize one has that bubble, is actually you are come out of that bubble, and you thought, okay, this is the right time. I can just pen down a certain thing. And definitely you are there. So number of poets, number of artists have actually been seen during this pandemic time. So I can really experience in my own classroom, I notice number of them getting connected to various things, and they share, the fathers in the house, they come out to be a great papa ka dhaba kind of a stuff they have come up with. So
Yeah.
a great stuff, and I think they have nice connections with everybody around. It happens. You have a lovely time when you get connected to the families together. I think family bonding was great during pandemic time. Yes.
Yes, yes.
Is there
So
something else you want to read out last few lines, the any of your poetry to the last part of it, last chapter with Sarah?
yeah.
Because last chapter is something give a hope to everybody.
So yes, so the very last poem of my book is called These Words. It's a
All
very
right.
simple title because it's all about these words at the end of the day. And there is one paragraph that goes like, I had to get over 6 layers of guilt, remorse, resentment, embarrassment, regret, and denial to write these words. But I wrote them because I should, because I fought my demons without no help, and no one should feel that helpless. So all I
Good one. Good
wish is
one.
for these words to give you hope. So let go of the anchor that's not letting you float. Just let go and hope.
Great. So the thing should go on, and if something is coming, you should let the things flow and do the certain
Yes,
thing. Don't stop yourself, right? There is nothing, no
yes,
blockage for you. You can just carry on. If you have a flare coming, carry on. Whatever you want to do it, do that, right? No fear should be there now, because now the
yes,
blinds are being away and you can always carry on. Okay, why
yes,
should we leave the
exactly.
second chapter in between? Let's have something of second chapter also.
So second chapter is another thing about negative self-identity that sometimes we end up adapting because a lot of outside factors are affecting our own self-esteem. And the thing is like, as I said, it's a race. And if you see somebody else being productive, you sort of start valuing yourself in terms of your productivity, which is not a very good thing to do because you're worthy of good things, no matter if you've been productive or not. You're a human being and you deserve all the love and kindness that is there. So there is this piece in the second chapter that's called Mirror, Please Lie to Me. And it's one of the poems that are very, very close to my heart. And I think a lot of teenagers would be able to relate to it because it's about insecurities that come lurking in the darkness of the night. So it goes like, mirrors don't lie now, do they? They show you exactly the things you whispered never to see when you prayed. So you beg and cry and bleed, you go down on your knees and you let the tears and blood stain your body and cheeks. You keep screaming, show me the things that I want to see. Mirror, mirror, please lie to me.
So sweet, so sweet. I think we just get connected immediately, and the things came to us immediately.
I guess there has been some network issues with Ekta ma'am. So that is the thing. The poem Mirror Please Lie to Me. It's basically talking for itself because when you look into the mirror, you'll find you'll spot a flaw or another thing in a nook or a cranny, and you'll just be constantly wondering that why do I keep seeing these flaws? Where are they coming from? And every now and then you just be like, I want to see a perfect idealistic image of myself. And so you just say, mirror, please lie to me, but mirrors don't lie. And at the end of the day, it's about acceptance and how you accept yourself as a human being, as a whole. That, loving yourself isn't something that goes like, "Hey, I am perfect and I'm going to love myself." It's like, I am flawed and I am imperfect, but I'm deserving of that love anyways. That I have made mistakes. I can always make better ones. That is another Oscar Wilde. And as we transition, my book takes on from a very, very dark note, takes off from a very, very dark note, but it lands itself towards a happy note. And I ended my book with 4 lines that go like, all I wish is for these words to give you hope and bring you home. I hope you're home now. This is where it ends. But then again, journey ends only to begin again. So this is where this book ends, but journey ends only to begin again. So somewhere, some another time, I will pick up the pen and I'll write more words, and that will hopefully turn into another book.
Yeah. So I really
I
hope that the young minds like Sara are visionaries, and such platforms like KLF, that is Kaling Lit Fest, live these young poets and their work. It is also a testament to the communities that stand behind them as artists, nurturing them far beyond the pages of the book. So definitely, I think the one who are watching us, the one who are actually getting into conversation, and the one who will definitely watch us later and log in to this page of Kalinga Fest will definitely love to hear this conversation, get to know more about Sarah's book, that is What Lies Within, the kind of conversation we had. I think she stressed onto each and every chapter very, very clearly what is there and who's the right readers for that, the audience for them. I think they'll really have a good time. So once again, we'll just love to actually give a big thank you to Kaling Fest to making us moderate this program. And we had a real good time, Sarah, having a nice conversation with you. I think there's some questions coming over from the others end from the audience side. They might be having some queries, and we'll definitely check in on for what they're writing about. They find the program really, really wonderful. And I think they're really liking your things out there, the way the conversation was. Nidhi Chauhan is writing very nice, amazing by Shrija Goswami. I think they all loved it. All young children of from various ends coming to Ajay Tripathi ji is writing about proud to you, Sara Beta. I think they are really, really liking your program a lot. I think I would just love and tell the audience do read the collection of this child's book. She really worked very hard on that, and you all just get connected to this child for sure. I think all are liking, a lot of hearts coming on your way, Sarah.
Thank you so much,
Really nice.
everybody.
It's really nice and amazing. Very nice to see that. May you blossom each day, Sarah. My blessings on your way. And definitely Kalinglet Fest, the team members definitely bless you for sure. And they have their blessings for you that you should just bloom. And very much in the coming closer time, we'll definitely see with you with the next collection, be it a prose or a poetry. Right, Sarah? Great.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma'am, for this lovely discussion. A very productive and healthy and a refreshing discussion. And thank you,
Yeah, because
everybody.
the idea was, Sarah, see, being a educationist myself, I really want each and every child to get connected with this conversation, which is because either somebody is live right now with us or in the coming times, they should actually find it really, really fruitful for them, and they should just feel that okay, everybody has the time. A thing can be little, a person can be down, a sadness can be there, but as you said, even your book suggests, even the book cover suggests that there's definitely a dawn the next morning. So wait for that. The pandemic will end and we'll have a better time in the coming times, right? So one has to always see the brighter side of things, Sarah, right?
Yeah. Like, we always feel like that the grass is greener on the other side. That is because you're not looking at your grass. Look at your own grass, water it, nourish it, and
For
you'll be
sure,
as
for
green
sure.
as the grass on the other side.
Yeah, why to look at every time for somebody else? Don't compare yourself with anyone. You have the best. Today you have written probably 4 lines. Tomorrow, if you plan, you can write 8 to 10 lines also because you have a flair for writing. Today might be your food was not cooked better. Tomorrow can be a better cook, right? It can be a better food in your plate the next day, right? So the things can go on if you try. Definitely, the things will be better. So the only thing is that you have to just cross your fingers and be sure of that. Yeah, I can do it. That I can do it
Yes,
spirit is very important, Sarah, right? The
yes,
things happen. I think darker side is always there for it. But when we see the brighter side, when the blinds, as you say in your third chapter, when the blinds are being removed, the things are definitely brighter on the
yes,
other side. Yeah, great,
yeah.
great.
And
And Sarah, what are the things? What you are just actually feeling right now about your book? What kind of a readers? What kind of a people you feel that they'll be getting connected to?
so right now, I'm
Definitely,
actually very
I will be getting a lot of calls already. Messages are coming on my way. So I'll forward that message to you. All my blessings along with the message coming on your way. What is your things out? What kind of a audience are you expecting to you?
Um, as of now, I'm feeling very grateful and humbled and elated, And after this, it's not more about how many people read it, it's about who reads it and who the book touches. Because everybody you pick up a newspaper, you read headlines and you go through it and you scroll through it, and that's it, that's done. But that's not what I want with my book. This is my heart and my soul and everything I've poured out here. And I want somebody to read it and go like,
Great,
this touched
great.
me, this stirred my soul. This wrenched my heart in ways I didn't think anything could. So that's what I'm expecting my
So
readers to
definitely,
feel.
I'll just request all my audience, the one who are watching live and the one who will be watching it later or logging into YouTube or Twitter anywhere, and listen to this conversation. Make sure this child has put all our heart and soul into the this particular book. So do read it. Do enjoy each and every line of it, each and every word of it. So definitely, I think you would love, and this book will be definitely very, very close to your heart. And I thought I'm in love with this poet already. Yes, Sarah. I'm just repeating. I'm in love with your book, and as well as this lovely poet sitting in front of me, right? So I think
Thank you so
definitely,
much.
I think everybody will enjoy this. Is this book available on Amazon also, Sarah? If one want to get
It is
into it, yeah.
yes, it's available on Amazon globally and it's also
All
available
right.
on Flipkart.
All right, because the audience should know about it. Even if they're online right now, definitely the things can be that they will be just enjoying the conversation, and they can always pick up the book by themselves. I think one of my our audience is asking Mr. Hansraj Virmani says about if you have any message for the young writers.
Uh, my message to you is like there is no way to perfect words or write them in a way that will appeal to other people. Write
Right,
what appeals to you. Don't think about this will be read, this will be gulped by the audience. No, write what you actually want to write. And that is
great,
the beauty, the originality. That's what matters in literature or poetry. The
right.
realness, the essence, because each individual will write in a way that is true to themselves. And that's what matters. Just write.
So if that is touching you, do that a certain thing out. Don't worry. You're not going to impress anybody else, right?
Yeah.
If you are happy about writing yourself, this is my topic. This is my title. I just don't want to pen it down. It's more than enough. If you are happy, automatically you'll spread happiness. You'll spread positivity all around. Great. Very nice. Very, very good message coming on your way. Do you have anything to say about this particular fest, Sarah? This is a beautiful
Um,
platform. What I find is the debut poet like this have been well given this platform, and we have a beautiful conversation today. What is your words for the Kaling Fest team today? Because I think they have worked very
so,
hard. They have worked all the way hard to organize this particular program. So I just want a few words for this Kaling Fest team.
so KLF is a very, very renowned platform, and I'm utterly grateful to be on here because it is overwhelming to be on here at the age of 17. And when I just have one book out and I have the opportunity to be here and to talk to you and, to reach out a community, people that will like my work, it is a very, 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 very big opportunity to me. And I'm very humbled and grateful to be have given this. And yeah, and I think, you know, slowly as electronics and stuff is coming over, we have sort of, reduced our reading time and more and increased our screen time. And
Right.
I think you can read ebooks, but it wouldn't feel the same as picking up a book in your hands and turning the pages and feeling it, on your fingertips because
I
that's the
think I
beauty of it.
100% agree here with you. Till the time the feel of the book is not there in your hand, you don't enjoy book reading, right? The
Yeah.
feel is really, really important. Till the time you don't have that feel, you really don't enjoy. In between, there was one question coming for you, Sarah, that is by Mrs. Mona Tripathi, says about when is your book coming? Like, if they really want to buy a book, When it be available in the bookstores or even online?
So my first book is available on Amazon globally, and it's available on Flipkart right now. And
All right.
next book, that is, that is only for time to tell, because things happen for a reason. And my first book happened for a reason, and my second book will also happen for a reason when the timing
Great.
is right and when the universe wishes for it to happen.
Great, great. Okay, Mona Tripathi is asking one more question to you, and that is, how much struggle was there? If you really want to publish a book, what did you went through some struggle along? Like, what was the struggle like, or was it a easy? You get the publisher very, very easily.
Uh, Initially, it was easy for me to get a publisher. A friend of mine um, introduced me to my publishing, which is Paper Towns Publishing, but it's more of the process because you can feel burnout and then you also feel self doubt. When a book is in the making, you feel, what is this all worth it? Like, is it this worth it? Will people like it? Will people read it? You'll feel scared and you'll feel burnout and you'll not even wish to pick up the pen for a long, long while because you've been constantly writing and working. So it's more of an emotional and mental struggle. But, for what it's worth, what lies within is here today. And I wouldn't
Right.
want it any other way.
Definitely. So I think once the things were in your mind very, very clear, if I have written the book, the thoughts are being penned down. So definitely there'll be somebody knocking my door. Yeah, I am there to publish your book. And probably my struggle can be little struggling can be there, but definitely the audience will able to see the book. And like I am actually enjoying to have this book in my hand right now. And I want to tell all my audience also to just definitely make sure of getting the book as early as possible. It's already available on Flipkart, as Sara already mentioned. One more question coming on your way by Anav Sareen, and Anav says about what do you feel? Which are you feel are the top five poems of your book? Now we already read three poems you already read from various ends.
Mhm.
Now he
Yes.
want to know the best five by the author, by the poet here.
Okay, so my top five would be Absences Beyond. The next one would be called Renovations. Mirror, Please Lie to Me. And I Met a Woman Once. That is another poem. And lastly, it would be These Words. So these are my
Like
top
I,
five.
I remember reading I Met a Woman Once was something very, very fascinating. It just touched you immediately as you read. And being a woman and actually talking to a woman here, not young women here, I really feel how connected we are. And I think all the readers, the one who will be reading it, have a high respect for all the women. Two lines from that particular poem, quickly, Sarah, as we are running short of time now. So, few lines quickly from a certain poem, what a request from my side now.
Okay, so I Met a Woman Once. This poem takes you on a more fantasy sort of journey. It's written in a very fantastical sort of a way, and it's about how you sometimes come across, it's a collective about all the women you meet in your life and how
Right.
different they are, but how still similar they are, because at the end of the day we are all women and we are more same than we are different. And so there is this line that goes like, I met a woman once and then she died. Her last words were, my child, your art. And sometimes your value is realized when you're no longer here and
Sweet.
there or anywhere in reach. She said, my child, your art, but not something to be stared at or picked apart. You hold so much power that these mere mortals can't even think about. I met a woman once, wise and kind and as old as folk and rhymes.
So sweet. So sweet. Really, really touching, Sarah. Very beautiful poem, man. It really touched my heart. I think I find this poem was the best poem I read in your certain book. Great one. Very, very nice. Okay, before we are getting close, I can see the clock going tick, tick. Just one line for these people, the Kaling Lit Fest. Anything you want to say, a liner? One liner quickly from your end.
Okay, so thank you for this opportunity. I'm very grateful and humbled to be here. Thank you, ma'am, for being such a good moderator and such a good partner to indulge in a discussion with. And thank you, everybody who joined, took out time of the day to listen and to participate in this discussion, because it's not just two people talking, it counts all the audience too. We are a community, and I'm so happy that everybody came here and joined and put up their questions and comments, because it makes me feel like that as much as I'm part of the conversation, you are too. So thank you, KLF, thank you, ma'am, and thank you, everybody who joined.
Thank you so much, dear. Thank you so much. And once again, KLF, thank you so much for making the moderator. And I think all the very best, Sarah. May
Thank
your
you.
book be read by number of people and they should get benefit from that as well, right? So thank you so much, everybody, once again, to watch.
Thank
Thank
you,
you so much.
ma'am.